Good morning, dream non-believers. And love is an intense feeling of deep affection. And when we think of love, it's so easy to only think of the romantic kind. You know, the love of finding someone who you immediately click with. But love, like every other emotion, isn't just a word. It's a library of books in different sizes, fonts, depths, and languages. Arthur Morgan is such an interesting and entrancing character because of how much he fights with this internal belief that he can't be a good person and that an outlaw is all he'll ever actually be.
But as he grew older, not only did civilization catch up with him, but so did his humanity.
Arthur's early life is defined by his lack of family and therefore lack of love around him. His mother died at a very early age, making him so attached to his father. So when his father got arrested and then killed for it, Arthur ended up on the street. But thankfully, after a while on the street, Dutch and Hosea find him out there and take him in, starting his new family, his found family. The Vanderlyn gang is his family by the time we see him at the start of the game. They look after Arthur and Arthur watches out for them, especially John. Arthur treats John like his little brother. John did join the gang not long after Arthur, and so it makes sense that they grew up as brothers. So at the beginning of the game, when John leaves the group, Arthur does feel betrayed even after going to save him. Yeah, he did go save him because it's his little brother. Who wouldn't? But after they save him, Arthur still holds on to these feelings they have to work throughout this entire game. And even though Arthur is surrounded by this platonic family love, he still has a romantic love. Before the start of the game, Arthur was romantically involved with a woman called Mary Gills. He loved this woman and they felt like they should have been together, but Mary's father did not like the lifestyle Arthur was living, even though he was also an alcoholic gambling addict, but that's neither here or there. And eventually this conflict drove a wedge between the two of them, enough so where they separated. We eventually get to re-meet her in the game, and we get to see through their dialogue, through their positioning, through their facial expressions, the unresolved feelings they still have for each other. Because even though they have these unresolved feelings, Arthur is always willing to help Mary. Because Mary is pretty much his kryptonite. It's the one person he wants to be vulnerable with, but he doesn't allow himself. Because Arthur is defined by his love, or more accurately, lack of love for himself. After being picked up by Dutch, he saw Dutch and Hosea as his father. And we get to really see that in the game between Arthur and Dutch, where he feels like he owes everything to Dutch, considering he's the one who taught him how to write, how to read, how to everything. Taught him the lifestyle, the only lifestyle that he actually knew. So Arthur was willing to give everything to Dutch, including his own happiness. In one of the missions in the game, you go on a date with Mary. And the date goes swimmingly. The chemistry they have is unmatched. But then by the end of the date, Arthur has a choice to leave with Mary. Mary's pleading him to just leave the life behind. But Arthur can't. He can't do it. Because the love he has and feel like he owes to the gang isn't greater than the love he has for Mary, but for himself, to let himself be happy. Mary, defeated, leaves, and in a letter tells Arthur, there is a good man within you, but he is wrestling with a giant. And in that letter, she gives back the ring Arthur had gave her so many years ago to finally let go of Arthur. Because she knows Arthur will never let himself be happy and leave the life behind.
Arthur is an interesting character because by his actions, he is a bad person. killing so many and robbing even more. But through the view of the player, we get to see him helping locals and caring for the people around him. Even in the end, when his family and father betray him, Arthur chooses to still be better. He helps John and gives him the ring of love that has long since died. So in Arthur's final moments, when he looks onto the horizon to pass on, he knows that the love he had can be passed on to others, because who you are isn't always defined by your past, but what you choose to do with your future, what you choose to do now. And especially now, when every day it feels like everything might come crashing down at any moment, it's important to just slow down for a second and find the time to love a little. Good night.